Every once in a while, I have this weird desire to like kick my heels as I'm walking up just to mix it up. And then I think, when's the last time I tried to jump and click my heels together? I might not be able to pull it off. Anyway, I'm talking about the possibility of reinventing Whiskey Vault. I'm just putting it out there. I don't have a plan yet. I'm just putting it out there. But we're coming up on a 1-year anniversary, and it felt like time to talk about it. So, son of a bitch. One of the things that I hate most about these stupid foil seals is if you don't rip them all the way and you bend them over, you just end up with a small aluminum sword sticking off the side of your bottle. And then when you twist the cork to open it, you just slide your thumb right across the knife edge of bent aluminum. This is why I always take that off of every bottle when I remember. Okay, so let's talk story. The first reason, and we talked about this before, but the first reason we started this YouTube channel, by we I mean me, the first reason I started this channel was to talk to the Soms, to show them how to talk about whiskey, to sort of try to find some way to market Whiskey Marketing School in a way that wasn't like, come to our school, check us out. And it was just a resource to show the Soms, here's how you talk about whiskey without being an asshole. It accidentally attracted a lot of people. And by a lot, I mean like 1,000 within a month. And that was a lot at that time. We couldn't believe we went from like 30 subscribers to 1,000 in a month. And we were like, oh my God. And then around that time, Rex joined. And what changed is Rex wanted to use it as a test case to show his clients. And what got introduced into this is instead of one dude talking about whiskey in a camera, you ended up with the interaction between two human beings with very different personalities and very different approaches and levels of knowledge. And that engaging back and forth and pushing up against each other and that, water and oil combo was magnetic, and it exploded the channel. And it achieved forever the one of the most important thing I was trying to accomplish, which was eyes and ears on the Whiskey Marketing School. All of a sudden we went from a handful of people knowing about us to hundreds of thousands of people who knew about Whiskey Marketing School. And I don't even know if Whiskey Marketing School would be here if that hadn't happened. We might not have lasted past the first few years. Instead, Whiskey Marketing School just turned 9 years old. Or is about to, like in days from now. Oh, no, last week it turned 9 years old. I forgot the birthday. Anyway, and then another thing happened. So that grew, and then there was introduced some humor and shenanigans and some sketches and characters like the eagle and, the mooch and saw and all that, and that just drove in growth and growth and growth, and there was nothing like it on Whiskey YouTube. And we hit some big numbers. Now, keep in mind, 400,000 subscribers, 500,000 subscribers, that's huge for Whiskey YouTube. It is tiny for normal YouTube. For normal YouTube channels, if you aren't at 1 million, you're just crawling, right? We're still going to be babies. The Whiskey Tube is its own little sub-community. Anyway, in a desire to sort of create a living out of the way that he was spending his time, Rex initiated the idea of let's do Whiskey Tribe as a separate channel. And around the same time, we launched Crowded Barrel Whiskey. And so we used the for-profit channel and the distillery to do a whole new change. And all the shenanigans and general public level of awareness and all of that growth went over to Tribe. And the vault turned into, the vault turned into, let's drink a bunch of whiskey that you probably can't get from incredibly generous people in our community who sent us whiskey. And that went on for years. And as that happened, we never dropped in subscribers, but we went from like, bam, 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 to like, it's the slow grass-growing growth. And our view count dropped from 30, 40, 50,000 a video to 10, 15,000 a video, which is fair. We were putting all the growth energy into a different channel. So I would argue that I just described 3 seasons of Wizard Academy's Whiskey Vault channel. Season 1, some dude at a camera, hey, you should try this. Season 2, 2 guys at camera, hey, you should try this. I don't even know. Season 3, wow, you probably can't try this. And then last October, Rex and I decided to separate the channels, and Rex took on all of the for-profit Whiskey Vault, Crowded Barrel, Patreon, all of that energy, and I withdrew and put all my energy into the non-profit Wizard Academy Whiskey Marketing School Whiskey Vault community. And I would argue that's season 4. And season 4 of the Whiskey Vault could be described as, let me tell you something I think is interesting. Also, whiskey. Then I started adding in the, let's review some weird on a random Friday, just because I had some bottles that I thought you guys might want to see. We're going to talk more about where my brain is headed now when we're done with Caol Ila. And I'm coming back to Caol Ila because it's such a classic. It's such a classic. And we haven't talked about it on the channel a long time except as a comparison. And so, Caol Ila is Diageo owned the smoky component of Johnny Walker. Anytime Johnny Walker, and you've tried a Johnny Walker, and it had smoke, the smoke was most likely coming from Caol Ila. They called it, Diageo calls it the Isla home of Johnny Walker. So because of that, and they're not old, like a lot of these distilleries have 1880, 1903. Caol Ila had some history in distilling, but it was demolished in the 70s, I think it was, or 60s or 70s. And then, so everything you experience now in the modern Caol Ila is at most 40 years old, 50 years old, right? As far as production and the distillery, even the buildings. Oh, so vanilla cream, poached peaches and pear and ashy smoke, bright and fruit and fresh. It's pillowy and vibrant. And I'm picturing clouds actually in my head. Very smoky, but not in a slightly salty direction, but not like dark char, like Ardbeg smoke, but more like a light ash in the wind down a seashore. What's cool about this is, and someone correct me on this if I'm wrong, but my memory is that the malt that goes to Lagavulin, the smoked peated malt that goes to Lagavulin and to Caol Ila is the same grain. And the difference between Lagavulin's smell and taste and smoke and Caol Ila's smell and taste and smoke is entirely production choices with the same grain. And I love that because you could get a Lagavulin 16 and a Caol Ila 12 or a Lagavulin 12 now with Offerman and Caol Ila 12, and you can just see the differences that not the grain brought, but that production brought to the process. And that's so nerdy cool. I love it. There it is. So, what I love about Caol Ila, but also what some people don't like about Caol Ila, is Caol Ila has this sort of a dip in the mid-palate, and you get this blush of flavor, and then sort of a hole, and then this nice little sparkly light finish that sort of dissipates. And for me, that first blush is charred fruit, and then as it starts to become vanilla, it goes shoo, and then you swallow, and the aftertaste is that almost seaweedy, salty ash with a slight sweetness to it. And that gaping hole in the middle is what I think, personal opinion only, makes Caol Ila a brilliant blending component. Because as strong and dramatic as it is in a lot of ways, it also leaves all of this room for other things to play. And because of that, when I'm trying to create smoky blends in my house, I always use Caol Ila because Laphroaig dominates and Ardbeg dominates and Lagavulin dominates, but Caol Ila accents and enriches. And so I'm a huge fan of Caol Ila, but I also love drinking it myself. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to know, left to my own devices, how truly boring some of the things I would create would be to everyone else. This is my favorite whiskey bottle in the world and one of my favorite labels. And I love Compass Box. I love their art, I love that, but there's just something so magical to me about the simplicity of this black-green bottle in this really simple, plain label that I just, chef's kiss. I love it so much. And there are people in my life that used to get really mad about that. All your shit is boring. All the stuff you think is cool is boring. Like, yeah, I know. I'm still okay with it. Okay. Oh man, I'm gonna add a little water, but it doesn't need it. But it's been a while since I added water to Caol Ila like that. Okay, so let's talk next thing, Whiskey Vault. One of the big problems that I've been trying to figure out with content is right now, Whiskey Marketing School and the Bonafide program and it has no way to reach the outside world because we don't market, we don't advertise, we don't show up at conventions with a booth. Outside of this YouTube channel, we're effectively invisible except to the people who know. And that's fine right now because I'm still here, you guys are still here, we're still doing things, and it's staying alive, and that's been just fine for us. There's gonna be a day when it's not, like the day when I can't do videos, or I get hit by a truck, or things change in my life. We need to start setting in motion, in my opinion, the understanding that this channel is always growing and shifting and becoming. And so we went through what I think was the first and hardest transition, which was the Whiskey Vault's not the same anymore. And I totally agree. It's not the same. And it's not going back. We've done that. We're moving forward. But now that we've gotten comfortable with this change and you guys have relaxed into let's hang out at a barrel and talk about weird, interesting things in life, and let's go in the old vault and talk about a whiskey that someone sent just to see what we think about it, I think there needs to be a new thing. I think we need to do a new thing, and we need to start slowly introducing the idea of the Whiskey Vault, and here's my thought. I want to introduce the idea of the Whiskey Vault having seasons. And I just spent the first half of this video describing to you the first, what I would argue, 4 seasons of Whiskey Vault YouTube channel. Now what I'm curious about is what is the 5th season? Because we are now within days of the 1-year anniversary of me doing this for the first time. And I think that's a great way to handle TV seasons. So, in the background, I'm working on what is the next season. It will not replace this entirely. My guess is whatever we come up with will replace one of these. And so we'll still have like a Tuesday or a Thursday sit down at the barrel with Daniel. And then the new thing that we come up with will replace the Tuesday or Thursday. And then we'll still have the Friday hidden drams and gifted drams. And that'll be a way to sort of slow roll introducing new stuff into the community without it being a complete overhaul every single year. But it's necessary, I think, for the health of this channel, so I'm gonna do it. And I don't know yet what it's gonna be, but I hope you like it. I do like the idea that the only 2 things I'm trying to achieve with this channel, that's it, there's only 2 things. Awareness of Whiskey Marketing School, Wizard Academy, and our program, and 2, giving people the space to understand that the whiskey you like is the good whiskey, is whiskey you like and the way you like to drink it. That's it. That you don't have to be a snob to understand and know and learn or to enjoy or appreciate or to discover. And so whatever we create, if it achieves those 2 things, we're done. There are plenty of people who will analyze this bottle for an hour at a time until you're blue in the face. I'll point you to them. There are plenty of people who are just flat out entertaining no matter what they're doing. I can point you to them. The goal of this channel is to talk about whiskey in a community of like-minded people who believe the definition of good whiskey is whiskey you like the way you like to drink it, and to remind you that Whiskey Marketing School and Wizard Academy and the Bonafide Whiskey Program exist, and that we would love to see you here. That's it. And so whatever we come up with next, education can be accidental. Those are the things that we're trying to talk about. Whew. The water pushed the fruit forward, but made it more ashy simultaneously. And it made the palate only sweet and ashy. Much better without water. Cheers to you. I'm really glad you're here. If you're interested in season 5 of Whiskey Vault, in the season where Doctor Who turns into a whole different person, then like and subscribe.